Hello students, this is Anjana from Computer Science Department. So in this class we are going to discuss about this remote user authentication principles. Now let's get into our topic. So now let's get into our topic about this remote user authentication principles. So in most computer security contexts, user authentication is a fundamental building block, and the primary line of the defense is that here the user authentication is the basis for the most type of access control for the user accountability. For example, whatever the most computer security contexts, user authentication is a fundamental building block, and the primary line of the defense is that so the user authentication is the main basis for the most type of the access control and for the user accountability. But for example, the user allies tow class could have the user identifier, suppose APT tow class. That is the user allies tow class, and these are the names just for the difference that we have taken here. And this information needs to be stored on any server or the computer system that allies wishes to use, and could be known to the system administrators and to the other users. Suppose a typical item of the authentication information is associated with the user ID and is a password with which it is a secret, with which it is a kept secret. It is known only to the allies and to the system. If no one is able to take this password, and it is going to enable the administrators and set to the allies means it is another person. So allies is going to take the access and he is going to take the permission, and he is going to add the activity of the token. So because of the allies ID is not secret, such that the system users can send her the email, but because only because of her password is secret, he is going to provide the security for his uh, particular information system, so that no one can be printed to the allies system. Okay, this is the main thing that we are going to keep it on the mind. And the next thing is only because of the allies ID is not secret, set to up the allies access permission and audit her the activity. Because of the allies ID is not secret, system users can send her email, but because of her password ID is secret, no one can be printed to the allies, so that this process of verifying an identity is claimed, it is going to claimed by any other system entity, or an authentication process consists, it is having of two steps, and authentication process is having two steps. That is, first one is identification step, next one is verification step, and the next one is something the individual knows. So presenting an identifier to the security system, most of the identifiers are the only based upon the this basis of the access control device, such that by presenting an identifier to that security system, the identifier should be assigned carefully. Okay, what are the identifiers that we are going to take? Those identifiers are to be assigned very carefully. Why? Because what are the authenticated identities are the basis for the security services, such as the access to the control service. For that, here we are going to take the verification step here. So by presenting or generating the authentication information that corroborates the binding between the entity and to the identifier. So there are the we are having the four general means of the authenticating the user's identity, which can be used alone or in the combination. That can be definitely used alone in the combination, that is something the individual knows. Examples, for example, it is going to include the password, such that just like the personal identification number. Why we are going for this concept called personal identification number means, the personal identification number is going to provide a security a lot. So for that we are going to take the answers to the pre-arranged set of questions. So for that it is going to take the examples include a password. So whenever the user in general means whenever the user is going to authenticate its identity, it can be used alone in the only in the combination. Okay, suppose if something want to know this individual at this particular steps, it is going to include the password and a personal identification number or the answers to a pre-arranged set of questions. So these are the steps. First one is identification step, and next one is a verification step, and next one is these are the two steps for that definitely that we have to follow. After that, if somebody has known the individual things, suppose if it is if for example it includes the passwords or personal identification number, then it is going to provide the extra security such that the answers are the pre-arranged it is going to provide the answers for the pre-arranged set of questions. And next one, if something is an individual process, that is examples, it is going to include the cryptographic keys or electronic key cards or smart cards and physical keys. This is a type of this type of authenticator is referred to as a token. So such that if it includes the cryptographic keys or electronic keys or smart cards, if the physical key, this type of authenticator is referred to as a smart token. Okay, whenever we can say it as a smart token means it includes the cryptographic keys, electronic key cards, smart cards and physical keys. So this type of authenticator is referred to as a token. So something the individual is a static biometric. The examples includes the recognition by the fingerprints, retina and the face. So such that something the individual is a static biometric. It examples include the recognition by the fingerprint or the retina and face. Something whatever the individual, for example, if it is the case that something the individual does, that is dynamic biometrics. At this particular case, the examples include the recognition by the voice pattern, handwriting characteristics, and typing rhythm. These are the process that we have going to involve here. So if you observe this step. Teacher attention is uh, strategy. It involves the use of the trusted key distribution or distribution center that we are going to take. Each part in this center shares we can set another master key with the key distribution center. This key distribution center is responsible for generating the keys, which is going to time and over a connection between the parties. With session keys and for distributing those we are going to distribution. The protocol can be summarized as follows. See, this part A, we are going to provide this key distribution center that is going to identify this identity A, identity B, and N1. And for this key distribution, again, this key distribution going to authenticate with A, such that we are going to provide the for key and for identifier, and again we are going to for the identifier. If it is for to provide keys B and A. If it is going for B tray also, we're going to provide the encryption for this key and those and two. So if it is going for B to A and A to B, at this in this particular case also, we are going to provide the encryption for the key, and we are going to perform the function for the node N2. So if we have taken the example of this Kerberos, the Kerberos is a authentication protocol on the basis of tickets, and it promotes communication over a non-secure network. The survey or application request for the computer network. It was developed in as a project of MIT. It provides authentication by using the. It is going to provide the authentication by using the secret cryptography. So what are the thing? Whatever what are the type of security that we are going to provide, but it is a computer network authentication protocol. It is going to work on a basis of tickets. Ticket means it is going to provide the it is going to allow nodes to communicate over a non-secure network. If it is a non-secure network, it is not going to allow the nodes to do the secure network. So it is a secure method for authentication a request for the service in a computer network. So basically it is developed in a project of MIT. So in order to provide the authentication by using the secret key cryptography, we are going to follow these rules. So users and characteristics. These are the users. Kerberos is used for decreasing the burden for the server. Means the Kerberos will take the responsibility of the authentication, and it is designed for providing the strong authentication for the server applications by using the secret key. Suppose it is a version 4 and it is a Kerberos of version 5, just like that. Up to now, we are having these two versions, that is Kerberos version 4 and Kerberos version 5. So basically, what are the main uses? It is used for decreasing the burden for the server. Means the Kerberos will take the responsibility of the. It is going to take the responsibility of the authentication, such that it is designed for providing the strong authentication for the client server applications by using the secret key. So these are the characteristics of the. It is secure, and it never sends the password unless it is encrypted. If it is not encrypted, it is not going to send any type of passwords to it. And next one is only a single login is required per session. For each and every session, we are going to log in for a single time, such that the credentials that defined at the login are then passed between the resources without the any need of the additional logins. Without this need of the any additional logins, we are going to take this the concept. So this concept depends upon the trusted third party. So in this key distribution center, it is going to aware of the all systems and network is trusted by the all of them. So if it performs the mutual authentication, where a client proves its identity to a server and server proves its identity to a client. Here the client is going to provide the identity to the server, and server is going to provide the identity to the client. So these are the requirements of the Kerberos. The first one is secure. The Kerberos should be strong enough that a potential opponent does not find to be a weak link. He need not to find the weak link. And next one is it should be a reliable. Suppose the Kerberos should be highly reliable and should employ the distributed server architecture with one system able to back up the and the transparent, such that ideally the user should not aware this identification is taking place beyond the requirement to enter the password. So whatever the passwords they are going to provide here, the system should be capable of supporting the large number of clients and servers. Okay, here in this Kerberos types of system, this system should be capable of supporting the large number of clients and servers. So here these are the requirements. First one is secure. The Kerberos should be strong enough that a potential opponent does not find to be a weak link. Next one is it should be reliable. The Kerberos should be highly reliable and should employ the distributed server architecture with one system and able to back up another. And next one is it is transparent. That is, ideally the user should not be aware that authentication is going to take place beyond the requirement to enter a password. And next one is scalable. The system should be capable of supporting the large number of clients and servers. Okay, so this is a simple authentication dialog. An authentication server is used in this simple authentication server. We can say it as a AS, so that knows the password of all the users and stores these in a centralized database. In addition, the authentication server, whatever the authentication server that we are going to use, the authentication server shares a unique secret key with each server. So these keys have been distributed physically or in some other secure manner. So now let us consider this following hypothetical dialog. This is the center for the authentication service we are going to provide, where C refers to client, A is the authentication server. Here ID is the identifier that we are going to use on the client C, and P is the password for user on the user C, and ID V is the identifier of the V. Okay, uh, then we have already know AS is authentication server. From the authentication server to the client, we are going to provide the ticket there. Then the client C to the identifier V. We are going to take the identifier for the client, and automatically the ticket is generated at that particular client. So from that for that ticket we are going to provide the encryption, that is we are going to, for the identifier V, key of identifier V, and the identifier for the client, the network address C, and for the C6 activation key shared by the server and the identifier of V. So this is simple than the client authentication server, V server, the identity of technology, ID of V, and P C the part of use on C, and the address of the C, and the next one is secret encryption key shared by the authentication server and the identifier of V. So the main problem with the simple authentication dialog is that the user must and should enter the password such that for every individual service. So here the Kerberos is going to overcome this by using the new server. We can say it is already known as a ticket grading server. Now in Kerberos we have two servers, that is authentication server and ticket granting server. Once per user login session, From the client to authentication server, we are going to provide the identifier for the client and identifier for this granting server. GS is the granting server. Ticket granting server. TGS means ticket granting server. So from authentication service to the client, we are going to provide the encryption for the key of the client and for the ticket granting service, ticket of the ticket granting service. And again, once for the type of these services, from C to ticket granting service, it is the identifier C and the identifier of V and the ticket of the ticket granting service. From the ticket granting service to the client, we are going to provide the ticket for V. And next, if it is once per service session, from the client to V, we are going to provide the identity for the client and we are going to provide the ticket for V. So this is the overview of the career goals. First one is the user logs onto the workstation and he get it is the server and the ticket granting server, and here based upon that the server going to verify the data here. So this is a ticket granting service. Uh, Here the server is going to verify that the server key. So finally here we are going to get into this structure here. So these are the topics that we are going to cover under this topic. So if you have taken this exam